Well, one of the major problems that democracies have to deal with is the fact that voters are less and less willing to gather the information necessary for making informed choices at the polls, and this is particularly acute at the European level. We have upcoming European elections, for example, and most people do not know who to vote for from the European perspective. They vote as if this were national elections only. So here, for example, the internet can play quite a big role in helping people to find their way around European-wide topics and follow a European-wide campaign, for example, of political parties. Furthermore, I think that there are new tools like the European Citizens Initiative, an institution that came with the Lisbon Treaty and that allows 1 million European citizens to sign a form of petition that goes then to the European Commission and invites the European Commission to initiate legislation in a certain field. Now, this European Citizens Initiative is not used very, very heavily, and one of the problems here is that you have to rely on a mobilization coming from above. You need some kind of organization able to gather these signatures across 7 countries at least, and that's for a normal citizen almost impossible to do. And here as well, the internet can help a lot. These signatures can now be gathered digitally. There are tools that allow citizens, without the help of political parties, to sensitize the population in neighboring countries, for example, to a certain issue across the entire European Union. And that's something that, without the internet, I have more difficulties imagining. First of all, one has to recognize that still internet penetration varies from one place to the other, so the role that the internet can play is potentially different given the fact that you don't have the same number of users per country. You have regions where the internet attracts 100% of the population, like in some of the Nordic countries or in the Baltic states like Estonia, and where a huge part of society has started to do all the transactions, almost all the transactions with the state over the internet, with their banks over the internet, etc. So there, for example, I imagine naturally to be the e-participation part of participation to be higher than in countries where you have a lower level of internet penetration, where the internet generally plays a smaller role in the interactions between citizens and the state. So I think that the diffusion of e-participation will follow pretty closely the diffusion of the internet itself and the use that is made for by governments. I would say what we are doing right now at the European University Institute is build a platform for these European elections, where we allow citizens actually to find out more about their points of views and how they match with the political offer, not just in their home countries, but actually compared to all parties that are running in the elections. Look at it as some kind of European-wide valomat. And one thing that I would like to tell the European Union, and that some parliamentarians, for example, have already taken up, is with regard to these European elections in particular, not those in 2014, for those ones it's probably too late, but for the next ones, to think about allocating some of the seats at least for an entire Europe-wide constituency, where over the internet, for example, you could inform yourself about the parties running at a European-wide level, and therefore to transnationalize, basically, thanks to tools on the internet, such as the tool we're creating now, the You and I tool, to actually cast a proper European vote, and not an Austrian one, a Slovenian one, a Portuguese one, and an Irish one, but a proper European vote, so that European elections would become truly European.